Hi, I'm Fade, and I am the creator of a comedy series called Life on Olympus. And today I'm going to take you a little bit behind the scenes and explain what my creative process is, how I choose which gods get added to the series, and how I manage to juggle all of this with the demands that social media asks of content creators. Life on Olympus is a comedy series based on Greek mythology. I have a core cast of characters, mainly comprised of Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Hades, Aphrodite, Ares, and so on. I recently added a character called Eris, who is the goddess of strife, discord, and chaos. Most people who are interested in Greek mythology have come to know Eris as the daughter of Nyx, goddess of night. However, there are accounts of Eris being the daughter of Zeus and Hera. There are many different interpretations of Greek mythology. This is the less popular choice. Most people prefer, I would probably say, most people prefer the version where she is Nyx's daughter. However, I decided to add Eris as the daughter of Zeus and Hera. There's many reasons for this, so I'll kind of break them down one by one. I think it sets the stage for far funnier scripts than if I were to add her as the daughter of Nyx. It's also a bit easier for me when it comes to world building. I follow a structure that works for most television series, which is I have a subplot and then I have a main plot. And the main plot, I typically describe them as arcs. So right now, I'm doing the Eros and Psyche arc. And in addition to that, I have subplots running concurrently. So I have the Poseidon and Athena arc. That was very fun to do. Basically explained why they have a very strained relationship. Doing this allows me more freedom creatively because I'm able to keep the series fresh and interesting by not just tunnel visioning on one specific arc or few characters at a time. It gives me that freedom to kind of, take a break from the big main course and say, ooh, look, dessert. So adding Eris in, I'm really excited because now we get into uncharted territory. Eris has a very interesting background, and she did try to kill her mother Hera, but the reason for that is generally unknown. I really felt that for the world I'm building, it's better to tell the story with her being the daughter of Zeus and Hera, because then she is linked to this very dysfunctional family and is able to cement herself, even though nobody wants her there. She's family. I didn't want to introduce her where she's siloed because she is the daughter of Nyx. Because on top of this, I have not introduced Nyx formally in my series. So it would be very jarring if Life on Olympus was just going from myth to myth to myth to myth all the time, working with dozens of different gods and never really staying in one place, because then it becomes more of a tale of short stories. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not what I'm trying to create. I want something where you can clearly go through it episode by episode and be like, oh, I really enjoyed this arc, or oh, I can't wait for the next episode because we're going to, find out what Poseidon does or what Hera does, because you're following a story. It's storytelling. So introducing Eris as the daughter of Nyx would have meant a very far departure from my current main focus, which is Psyche and Eros. When I was making Life on Olympus, like early conceptualizing it, I wanted to create something that was episodic. I didn't want it to just be these quick one and dones, essentially tale of short stories that had no rhyme or reason to them. I really wanted it to be something you could binge watch or watch every week the way you do a regular TV show. The world I'm creating is episodic. I have very long arcs. I had the Hephaestus and Aphrodite arc where I basically went through the story of how Aphrodite and Hephaestus got married and then divorced. And that was, in my opinion, really successful because I was able to accurately show character growth. I was able to introduce these characters to an audience, and they were able to follow their high highs and their low lows. And because of the way the algorithm works, I often don't get the luxury of seeing the same audience. I have to make every video with the assumption that it's going to be someone's first time seeing my video. Even though I've made over 100 episodes, someone may come in at episode 120. Ideally, you want them to be like, oh my gosh, let me go back to episode 1 and, like start watching this. That means I have to structure the plot and the characters in such a way that keep it as open-ended to new people who may not be familiar with Greek mythology. I can only do so much. I just have to make the best material that I can and hope that they're willing to stay and watch. Everyone gets maybe 2 to 3 seconds of screen time before someone swipes. So in those first 2 to 3 seconds, you really need to hook them in. There's a balancing act that has to be done in order for me to create this comedy series and have all these different characters, but still retaining, the majority of what makes the myth, and not taking too much, artistic liberty and just creating something that's completely out of left field. And I think I've been able to successfully do that thus far. That's just a little bit about how I create Life on Olympus. And if you are very curious about this series, or you want to know other things like how do I create, the voices for the characters, where do I draw inspiration from the personalities, how do I come up, with the scripts and build the rapport between these characters, I'd be more than happy to do deep dives on them, why does Hermes smile so much? Why is Hera so cruel to all of her children? And so on and so forth. But if you have watched any episode of Life on Olympus, or you've watched any of my comedy series, because I do have 2 other ones, Real Housewives of Salem 1692 and Housewives in the 1940s, thank you so much. It means the world to me, and I hope that this video has been insightful, and I sincerely hope I can make you all laugh in the coming days, weeks, months, and years. So, thank you for watching.